Before we get into the episode, I am thrilled to announce that the EntreMD Business School is open for enrollment. The EntreMD Business School is the only school of its kind for physicians who want to build 6, 7, and multiple 7-figure businesses. Over the last 2 years, we have had hundreds of doctors go through the school with unbelievable results. Some of them run brands, some of them run private practices, some of them are coaches, some have other kinds of service-based businesses or product-based businesses. And we've had people come in and cross the 6-figure milestone, cross the 7-figure milestone, cross the multiple 7-figure milestone. You will be in a place where you'll get the coaching, the community, the accountability that you need to thrive as an entrepreneur, especially in the times that we're in. So maybe you've been following me for a while. Maybe you've been getting so much out of the EntreMD podcast and you've been wondering, how can I work with Dr. Una and the community more? Well, this is your chance. Come join us in the EntreMD Business School. It is application only. So go to entremd.com/business to turn in your application. I cannot tell you how many doctors have made statements like this. I recovered my investment in the first week. I recovered my investment in my bank account in the first 90 days. This is the best investment I've made in myself ever. I want you to have that kind of story, not just a story of building a great business that serves a lot and earns a lot, but having a business that gives you the freedom to live life on your terms. So don't wait any longer. entremd.com/business. And now for the episode. Well, welcome to the 5-Minute Tweak, where I share one success habit you can start practicing today that will change your life as a physician entrepreneur. And today we are going to be talking about practicing turning off your business brain. Now, I get asked this a lot where people are like, how do I turn it off? And when an entrepreneur asks me, how do I turn it off? I know exactly what they mean. They're not talking about their computers, their phone. It's this business brain, this constant flood of ideas and strategies and what ifs and how can I's. And it's like when you start, it's exciting. But as you go on, it becomes this thing that is stressful because whether you are in the office or out of the office, working on business or not, you can be at the dinner table, you could be taking a walk, you can be getting ready to sleep, you could be in the middle of a movie. It seems like that business brain just keeps firing. Okay. And how do I know this so well? Because I lived in this. I understand it. I've done it. I've been the person who would wake up and first thing in the morning, I'm like, boom, 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 floods of ideas, floods of things to do. And I'm like, I just want to shut it off. I would go on vacation and I'm the whole vacation, right? Okay. So you get my point, right? So what do we do? The point is that this is a muscle that you've built over time. So maybe you were working a job and then you started the business and you're excited. You're working the job and the business at the same time. So you are used to working nights and you're used to working weekends. And, of course, maybe, the business takes off and you're no longer working the job and you're able to focus wholly on the business. But then you've built this habit of working nights, working weekends, working every waking moment, which maybe was necessary in the beginning. Like for me, it was necessary in the beginning, but I got to a point where it was not necessary, but I kept doing it. Why? It was a muscle. It was a comfort zone. It was a thing I was just used to doing. It was a default, right? And so we're going to talk about how you can build a new muscle, which is that muscle of resting, the muscle of pacing yourself. So you have these times where it's intense, you do what you need to do, and you have this other time where you pull back and you relax. Now, when I say that, the balance to it is, Jim Rohn put this beautifully. He said, stop and smell the roses, but don't stay too long or the weeds will get your garden. Okay. So stop and smell the roses. We want to rest. We want to do all of that. But don't rest forever. Don't overdo it. Right. There is a middle ground. So stay in the middle. Okay. So what is my strategy for turning off this business brain? Is something I call pattern interruptions. You've had a pattern. You start in the morning, you work, then maybe take the kids to school, then you come back, then you work, then you pick the kids up, then you work. And then after everybody's back from work, you continue to work. And when the kids go to bed, you work. Like it's a pattern, right? And so now you're going to create pattern interruptions. You're going to disrupt that pattern so that you can start building a new muscle. So there are 3 ways. So one, pick a time when you end your work day. Now, in the beginning, this is going to be so tough to do, but pick a time. You can say, after 5 p.m., I don't do any business stuff anymore. You might be going like, Dr. Una, that is just impossible. Fine. It can be as late as 8 p.m. The bottom line is pick something. Pick something that gives you a little more leeway, and you're like, okay, this is when I stop working, and you stick to it. And if you're here and you're married or you have kids, they're beautiful accountability, because you may just tell your spouse like, hey, I decided for the next month, I'm going to stop working at this time, and they'll hold you to it. If you dare tell your children, they will hold you to it. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, you want to have scheduled off times. And this could be as simple as your phone being off for an hour, right? Let's say you get back from work. Once you get back from work or from your business or whatever, the first hour, your phone stays off, right? And you let your family know this is a whole big announcement. Now, will that bring complete balance to everything? No, but it's a pattern interruption. It's a pattern interruption. So your body can start going like, why? I like this rest thing. I like this disconnection thing, right? Maybe your pattern interruption as far as schedule time could be listening to a non-business podcast. It could be something on parenting. It could be something on pottery. It could be something on mindfulness, whatever, but something that is not business, right? Not business, something that's not going to wake you up, get your juices flowing and stuff like that. For schedule time, you can also say, hey, if you have kids, this is time we're going to play together. I'm going to play with you from this time to this time. No phones, no nothing. All mommy's attention is on you, right? So those are interruptions. So scheduled times, they just interrupt that thing of work, right? The third thing you can do, which is one of my favorite, is you can take time off work. You can take time off your business. So when I, was, years into my private practice, it was overwhelming. I breathed my practice. I slept my practice. I dreamed about my practice. I woke up thinking about my practice. It was nonstop. And the big pattern interruption I did is I took a month off. Like just rip the Band-Aid off. I took a whole month off, no seeing patients, no meetings with the staff, no nothing, like boom, out. And after that 1 month, of course, I still went back. I worked, I did all that, but it was just like, wow, a month they survived without me. A month, I really liked that off. And so because of that, I was able to shut that off. It was like ripping the Band-Aid, right? So maybe you won't take a whole month off. Take a day, take a week, take 2 weeks. The bottom line is start interrupting. Okay. And I will tell you that this is going to be messy. This is a new muscle you're building. You're going to need to practice, but the more you practice, the better you get at it. The more you practice, the better you get at it. So can you shut off that business brain? Yes. It will take practice, but you can do it. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to pick one of these things we talked about, either the scheduled time or, ending, creating an end of work type of, time. Like I work till 5, I work till 8. Schedule some time off work, like legit time off work. Right. And, what you'll do is you start building that muscle, and you'll be that person who you're really engaged when you're doing your business stuff. And when you turn it off, you turn it off. Okay. So that can totally be you. So that's what I have for you. And if you will implement this, you will start a journey to be, of being that person who enjoys working and works really hard, but enjoys taking time off and plays really hard. Okay. So, there you have it. Now, remember, you are part of the EntreMD movement, the movement that disrupts the healthcare space. So don't keep this to yourself. Share this episode, and I will see you, my friend, on the next episode of the EntreMD podcast.